Perceptive Illusions Publishing, Inc. presents Unexpected Lovers, Book 1 of the Work Husbands series. Written by Blue Saffire. Read for you by Ore Nash and John Joseph Rogers. Audio production by AB Book Services.
Epigraph. Not everyone is worthy of your love. If they can't respect you, respect yourself enough to walk away. Blue Saffire.
Preface. Black Sheep's Sacrifice. Gio. It's taken care of, Jace whispers in my ear. I nod and narrow my eyes as my brother Dante stands before me at the altar. My little brother is making a mistake. I understand why. However, he's a grown man, so I'm going to allow him to make this decision on his own. That doesn't mean I'm not going to cover him. It's only one more secret I'm going to own. As the oldest, I've learned some things he's yet to understand. Life is about sacrifices. I've made many. I've been making sacrifices since I was told all the things I'll never be. In their eyes, I'm the weak one. Funny. It's the weak hand that moves while the strong one strikes. In this life, you need the weak hand to distract from the real power moves. I play the hand I've been dealt, but this isn't about me. I'm getting ahead of myself. One day, and I say this with confidence, I'll right all the wrongs done to Gio Di Lorenzo's boys. All the secrets will be out, and there won't be a weak link to be found. First, my brothers have a few lessons to learn. For now, I'll leave our secrets to rest. Even my sister-in-law will be allowed a reprieve from the monster she has woken. I'm patient. I had to learn to be. If nothing else I've said is remembered, remember this. When you bite a poisonous snake, don't be surprised when it bites back.
Chapter 1. Trick or Treat. Lizzy. Laughter surrounds me and I roll my eyes. I'm at a great part in this book and all I want is some peace and quiet. Too bad all the employees are required to come to these company parties. It's supposed to be a bonding experience. For an introvert like me, it's like being boiled in hot grease. The only saving grace is the fact that I get to dress up. Although I had to dial back from the cosplay costume I had in mind, as this is a work event after all. Everyone already thinks I'm weird. I can only imagine what they would have thought if I showed up as Nubia. I sigh as I mourn not wearing my black Wonder Woman costume. It would have been a representation of my hero. My big sister. She's a version of me I wish I could always tap into.
Happy Halloween, Lizzy.
I look up and give a kind grimace smile to one of my coworkers. I can't think of his name at the moment. He's one of the interns. He likes to talk a lot. I don't want to encourage that tonight. I want to be left alone so I can finish this chapter. The main point of this costume was to be able to get away with reading with no one being the wiser. As soon as I arrived, I found the first highboy not occupied by humans. I'd much rather spend the night with my book friends than these people. They're not all bad. However, I don't like peopling. I'd rather stab my eye out than talk to people who look at me like I speak another language. I learned a long time ago, I'd rather not speak than be made to feel like I need to dumb down for others.
Is this what I have my brother paying you so much for?
I grin and get ready to say something snarky as I turn around. I freeze in place as I look up into the eyes of Gio Di Lorenzo. I'm startled at first by the white contacts he has in. They're such a stark contrast from his intense hazel eyes that always seem to be consumed by secrets. Even with the pale makeup, blonde wig, and fake blood dripping from his lower lip, he's still breathtaking. All of the Di Lorenzos are. However, this man has been a force from the first time I met him. Our meeting always brings a smile to my face. Gio lifts a brow and gives a dirty grin, as if he's reading my thoughts. You and I both know this isn't what your brother pays me for, I say before leaning in to whisper. Nor is he the one who pays me. I wink. He winks back and places a finger to his lips, then glances around swiftly.
You look stunning. I don't regret a dime.
I laugh. But that's not what you pay me for either, and we know the pumpkin will return at midnight. He frowns at my words and looks me deep in the eyes. I have to look away from his gaze as if I'm being burned. Gio is hot. I mean, melt your panties off hot. But I'm not a match for him or his tastes.
It's always the treasures that don't understand their value.
He murmurs. Whatever. My world is much more reality-based than yours. This is why we're friends. I anchor you to the real world. He rolls his eyes.
You're a brat.
My heart warms as he tugs me into a hug. It's safe and welcoming, like the first time he brought me into his embrace. I pull away as I sense we're no longer alone. His younger brother, Dario, now stands on his right. Next to Dario is Carlene. I laugh when I note they're dressed as Bonnie and Clyde.
Good to see you too, Lizzy,
Dario says, his hazel eyes twinkling as he looks between Gio and me. Nice to see you too. How's the restaurant?
No, not tonight.
Gio says sternly. I'm not offended. I can be a bit of a workaholic. If I'm not doing my day job, I'm running my own thing. Jace, Gio's right hand, walks over and whispers something into his ear. I take the time to observe Carlene and Dario. As far as I know, the two are best friends and business partners. Although I've seen the way Carlene looks at Dario, not to mention he's hella protective of her. I can't help but wonder if there's more there. The Di Lorenzo brothers have always made me weak in the knees from the sight of them. Nevertheless, even if I didn't think Carlene has feelings for Dario, he's out of my league. Gio and I will forevermore be nothing more than good friends, never to cross or blur the lines. Then there's Dante, the third and youngest Di Lorenzo brother, Dario's twin, who's not only my boss, but he's also a married man, on top of being out of my league. Gio reaches to close my mouth for me.
You're making a puddle, love.
He teases. I shake my head to clear it. My book is left forgotten on the table as I give the new small crew my full attention. My hands are suddenly sweaty. I wipe them on my skirts and roll my shoulders. Dario drops his eyes to my cleavage and grins. Carlene looks between the two of us nervously. You look very nice, Lizzy. Wow, your corset is so detailed. Are those real book spines? Carlene says. Yes, vintage books that were going to be thrown out. I was able to turn them into a corset and had a friend treat the pages so I could use them as a fabric for the skirts.
That's impressive.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I know that voice anywhere. I turn to find my boss with his little girl in his arms. She has her tiny hands clenched against her chest with a beaming smile on her face.
Bella wanted to come meet the book queen. I hope you don't mind.
I reach to brush my hand over the crown on my head. When I look into Bella's sparkling hazel eyes, I know I can't disappoint her. Taking in her cute little Princess Jasmine costume, I smile. Giving a curtsy, I then say, It's my pleasure to meet you, Bella. See, Daddy? I told you she's a real queen, she says to her father. She then turns to me. I want to be just like you when I get big. Do the books speak to you? Do you have special powers? Bella's 5, going on 6. I've been tasked with scheduling and planning her birthday parties for the last few years. It's been fun to plan them, although I'm always surprised by how much rein I'm given with planning. I remember being her age and believing in all things magical. Meeting a queen would have made my world. One with magic, well, let's say I still believe in fairy tales for others, which is why I smile and deliver. Oh, the books show me world after world. They play in my head like movies. Maybe I can show you how to see them too someday. Her face lights up even more. I'd like that, she says, just above a whisper, with awe in her eyes. That is, if it's okay with you, Mr. Di Lorenzo. I clasp my hands in front of me and turn my attention to my boss. He's dressed as a 1920s gangster. I can't help but wonder if he and his twin planned the theme. The Di Lorenzo's Italian-Sicilian heritage is pronounced by their olive-tanned skin, fleshy lips, and thick, dark hair. I can't help drinking Dante in. All three brothers have lashes so thick and long you would think they all wear mascara and eyeliner. Dante's hot on a regular day, but tonight, I'd follow him in hopes of receiving a treat. I snorted my thoughts. I'd more than likely get a trick instead. Gio raised a brow at me. I realize I'm letting my thoughts play out on my face again.
Sure, it's okay.
Gio says.
Uncle Gio will bring the Queen to have tea with us.
In the last 5 years, I've gotten to know the Di Lorenzo brothers as I've worked for them. However, I know Dante the least. His wife isn't the easiest to stomach, so I tend to avoid her at all costs. Can we go now? Speaking of the devil. Bethany steps up to Dante's side, whining like a brat. I don't know why we have to come here in the first place. They work for us. We don't have to mingle among them.
Bethany.
Dante bites out. What? There were a plethora of events we could have attended tonight that matter. Such a waste of a good costume. She pouts. I have to say, she is gorgeous in the adult version of Bella's costume. Her brown skin looks like silk, and her dark brown eyes are lined with black, setting off their large oval shape. She pulls off Princess Jasmine well. I can totally see what Dante sees in her before she opens her mouth. From what I know, they were high school sweethearts. Gio has never been a fan of Bethany, but he tolerates her for his brother. That's love because I can't stand being around this narcissistic woman. She makes my gums itch. Oh, don't you look cute? She says dismissively to Carlene.
Get your wife, Dante.
Dario snarls. Bethany rolls her eyes. Don't worry about me. We're leaving.
We aren't doing this for us. We're here for Bella.
I notice Dante's cheeks turning red with his anger. I want to take a picture with the book queen. This seems to bring Bethany's attention to me. She narrows her eyes before rolling them over me. Her features pinch as if she sees something disgusting. What is it they say? Never judge a book by its cover? She'll be smart to choose her words wisely. This book has pages she doesn't want to read. Oh, please. That's just Daddy's nerdy assistant. She's not even his executive assistant, let alone a queen. You don't need a picture with her.
Why do you have to make everything about you and be rude to the people who help you live the life you're so privileged to live? Enough. Go wait in the car.
Bethany scowls at him and places her hands on her hips, looking as if she's about to go off. However, Dante places Bella on her feet and grabs his wife by the arm, tugging her a few paces away. Bella moves to me and grabs hold of my hand. I look down at her and smile. Her eyes get as big as saucers. I give her a quick wink before I look back up at Mr. and Mrs. Di Lorenzo. Dante has leaned into his wife's ear to say something that takes the wind out of her sails. She glares up at him before storming away. Dante returns to our group, placing a hand on top of Bella's little head. She's had her eyes on me since her father put her down, totally unaware her parents are fighting. I lift my gaze to Dante's as he clears his throat.
Before we go, will you take a picture with Bella? I think it will make her night. You're all she could talk about from the moment she saw you. She has better taste than you, brother. Don't start.
There's so much bite in Dante's warning, I flinch. He looks back at me and gives me a weak smile. It dawns on me how unhappy he has looked in the last few months. I bend and lift Bella into my arms. Dante takes out his phone, but Gio rushes to take it from him and pushes him toward me and Bella.
You have to take this with them,
he says. I stiffen as Dante places his hand on my waist, drawing Bella and me into his side. He releases me as soon as we're closer to him. I feel like such a fool. He only wants his daughter closer to him, and I have her in my arms. Look, Daddy, I kissed a queen, Bella says, as she cups my face and kisses my cheek.
Oh, that was perfect.
Gio croons.
Two of my favorite girls and my little brother. Thank you.
Dante leans to whisper in my ear. He takes his daughter from me and turns to leave. Bella waves to me from over her father's shoulder. I smile and wave back. Once they're out of sight, I go to return to my book. However, Gio blocks my way and pinches my chin between his fingertips. I search his face as he seems to search my eyes. When he finds whatever he's looking for, he nods.
I was right. They belong with you.
He releases my face and turns to disappear with Jace at his side. A shiver runs down my spine. I'm left feeling like I just signed over my soul.
Dante. I'm livid. More and more, I've been wondering what I see in Bethany and why I chose to marry her in the first place. We were young and searching for where we belonged. With all the traveling her parents did, she felt abandoned, and I knew the feeling well. At the time, I wanted to be her knight in shining armor. Although her parents spent little time with her, she was no stranger to my family's world. It made sense for us to marry. I didn't see the red flags. I was too preoccupied with thoughts of someday taking over the family business, the one that wouldn't be passed down to Dario. Then there was the dark role I would also have to play at some point. Bethany also showed me the face she wanted me to see. Never the mean, cruel, narcissistic side that flushes all her beauty down the drain. I've been a fool for this woman for years. Now I spend long hours at work so I don't have to deal with her callousness. I keep my gaze forward as we ride in the back of the SUV. If I speak, I'm going to shout, and I don't want to do that in front of Bella. My daughter's the innocent party in all of this.
We still have time to drop Bella off with the nanny so we can make George and Autumn's party.
I snap my head in Bethany's direction and glare. I work my jaw trying to hold in my explosive rage. My employees work hard to keep my company going. Di Lorenzo Industries would be nothing but a racketeering ring without the people who keep it going day in and day out. Lizzy is just one of the intricate parts of my staff. Of my 3 assistants, she's the one who oversees my schedule and keeps my life on track. She's shy and keeps to herself. She didn't have to pretend for Bella, and she didn't have to go through the trouble of wearing such a stunning costume in the first place. Hearing her say she made it herself took me by surprise. Lizzy is quirky and always has the best gift ideas for clients and employees. The personal touch does it every time, so I shouldn't be surprised by her talent. But that costume was out of this world. Her face. I've never seen her with makeup on like that. Bella was right. She looked like a true queen. I appreciate her efforts. A few weeks ago, I overheard her telling Gio she didn't want to attend in the first place. The office Halloween parties are a tradition passed down by my mother. All the holiday parties are. No matter how wealthy they became, the workers had always been important to her and my grandfather. There was a time when my mother knew the name of every single employee. I've had enough for the night. I'll be putting Bella to bed and retiring myself.
When did we become an old couple? This is what I've been talking about. All you do is work and spend time with Bella.
That's more than I can say for you, I snap, trying to keep my voice down as not to wake my daughter who's fallen asleep against my side.
What are you talking about?
Where is your brain? You ignore our daughter, treat everyone around you like shit, and your spending has been crazy enough to get both my grandfather and our accountant's attention.
It's our money, and I play with Bella all the time.
It's my family's money. And when was the last time you spent time with Bella without a nanny in the room to attend to her?
I don't want to have this conversation right now. Not with you like this.
That's what I thought. I turn to look out the window again as I stew. I need to figure out how to get my peace back without crushing my little girl's heart. I'm done with this marriage. Chapter 2. I'm sorry. Dante. The elevator doors open on the floor of my office, and Lizzy is the first person I see, as usual. She stands with her tablet in hand and her glasses perched on her nose. She's back to her shy self, not the majestic queen from last night.
Good morning, sir. You have a full day ahead of you. I've placed the contracts you need to look over on your desk. Michelle has noted the changes you wanted to see happen. At noon, you have a meeting to discuss the turkey drive and the company Thanksgiving party. It looks like Gio has blocked out some time this evening to meet with you and Dario as well.
I listen as she continues. I know all of this, but this is our routine each morning. This is where I ask for changes to the schedule and cancel the appointments I'm not in the mood to have or need more time to prepare for. I run the corporate side of this family's business. We have a chain of restaurants, and we also mass produce a few of our signature staples. Since I've taken over at the helm, we've moved from a multi-million-dollar company to a billion-dollar empire, all started from one single little restaurant back in Italy. I hope my mother would be proud of what I've done with her father's business. That is, if she even cares. She's probably forgotten the business, like she has everything else. However, my grandfather seems to be pleased from our conference calls and his visits. Thank you, Lizzy, I say as she gets to the end of my schedule and we reach my office door. She nods and turns to leave. I take in a deep breath. I'm still pissed about last night. Do you mind having lunch with me today? I'd like to make up for my wife's behavior last night, I say, halting her retreat. She turns back toward me, her lips parted and her eyes rounded behind her glasses. I force a smile.
That's not necessary. I have plans to have lunch with Gio today.
I frown. Sometimes I forget Gio and Lizzy are such good friends. I've often wondered how they met and why my brother has only kept her as a friend and not one of his dolls in his collection. Lizzy has been around for years. Gio isn't getting any younger. He's 42. Dario and I are 34. Neither of my brothers has chosen to settle down. They may be onto something. I don't know a lot about Lizzy, yet, as I think about it, my older brother may be too much for her. She's too quiet. I can't imagine her in his life. Whenever I see her, if she's not working, she has a book glued to her palms. I want to treat you to lunch. I can join the two of you. I'll text Gio and check with him.
Oh, okay. But you really don't have to.
Before I can say another word, she turns and hurries off. I head to my desk to start my day. Instead of giving my attention to the contracts on my desk, I pull my phone out and send my brother a text. While I wait for his reply, I open my pictures and look at the ones Gio took for me last night. I run my finger across my daughter's smiling face. Bella is my world. I felt worse about Bethany's behavior last night after Bella spent the entire time at the breakfast table this morning gushing over the book queen. My daughter craves female attention. Last night, Lizzy gave my little girl more than she knows, and I'm grateful to her for it. My phone rings and I answer the call. Good morning, Gio.
Good morning, brother. How can I help you?
His voice is the deepest of us brothers and rumbles with an authority only Gio can pull off. I was wondering if I could join you and Lizzy for lunch.
Really?
He says with intrigue in his voice.
What brought this on?
I want to say sorry for Bethany's behavior last night and thank her for making Bella's night. I don't know what she likes, so I figured I'd treat her to lunch.
She loves books and she's a gamer. She has a YouTube channel and all that. Oh, and she's into cosplay. You can't go wrong with any of that. But I like the sound of lunch on you.
A gamer? Really? I say as my interest is piqued.
Yeah, she's won all types of Warzone tournaments. Her Twitch is popular too.
Her what?
Beyond your understanding, never mind.
I clamp my mouth shut and note the information to dig for answers later. I frown and halt my train of thought. I'm still married to an overgrown baby. I don't have time to think about or look into Elizabeth's life. Fuck, the fact that I know her real name makes me question myself. She's only ever gone by Lizzy here in the office. I roll my shoulders and toss my head back. Bella needs her mother, so I have to try to make things work. At 5, Bella is at a critical age, although I'm not sure her mother is the best influence when I truly think about it. I would hate for my daughter to end up a spoiled brat. I want so much more for her. I want her to have what we didn't. I never want Bella to know the pain my brothers and I knew.
Dante,
My brother calls, grabbing my attention.
are you hearing a word I'm saying?
No, forgive me, my mind is all over the place.
You know, you deserve better. So does Bella. People divorce all the time. You could be missing out on a connection with the right one while holding on to the wrong one.
I release a heavy breath. I have to go.
You always run when we try to tell you the truth. Listen, you have the entire family ready to support you in this. Bella will have all the love she needs.
But no mother.
If Bethany cares anything for her, she'll still be there.
I grow silent. This is my fear. My wife is there for our daughter now because she has to be. They live under the same roof. If we divorce, I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach that Bethany will be gone with the wind, and Bella will be long forgotten. It's never been a question about whether I'll take custody.
Just think about it, Dante.
Gio says when I'm silent a beat too long. I will, I reply.
No, you won't.
He gives a dry laugh that lets me know he's frustrated. I'm as frustrated as everyone else. I'm starting to feel caged in. If it weren't for Bella, I would have been divorced by now. It's bad enough Bethany refused to have a baby until she turned 30. All the signs were there, I muttered to myself as I hang up the phone and toss it on the desk. But the question is, what do you do now? I growl at myself and my lack of answers. Bella comes first. She will always come first.
Lizzy. Lizzy, can you email those dates for the fair and charity event? Michelle, one of the other assistants, asks, snapping me out of my fog. I've been sitting at my desk in a daze. Dante wants to have lunch with me? Of course, I know it's nothing like the type of lunch I wish it could be. The man has no idea I've been crushing on him since I was hired. I don't even know what to say to him if we had lunch together. To be honest, I didn't take much offense from his wife's behavior. She's always been a bitch to me. I once thought we could be friends. I'm a part of her husband's work life. I do more for their family than my own. Her being a snob ruined that. She has always made me feel as if I'm beneath her. I may work for the Di Lorenzos, but I'm no stranger to wealth. I've never wanted for anything. I took this job as a favor to a friend. I have a certain set of skills Gio homed in on and wanted to acquire. My phone rings on the desk, bringing me out of my reverie. I jump, but rush to pick it up. "Those dates?" Michelle says as I put the receiver to my ear. I nod at her before I speak into the phone. "This is Lizzy speaking. You've reached Mr. Dante Di Lorenzo's office."
Hey, you. What have you done to my brother?
I sigh in relief. Nothing. He asked me to lunch, and I told him I had plans with you.
Well, now you're having lunch with us both.
I look down at my clothes and groan. I may never have a romantic relationship with Dante, but that doesn't mean I want to sit across from him looking like this. I look like a goth kindergarten teacher. There's nothing about my outfit that says 29 and trendy, like some of the others in the office. I look frumpy and twice my age. My sister would be so disappointed in me. "Fuck," I whisper.
Chill out. Dante doesn't bite. I think it's nice he wants to do this. We all know how grumpy he can be.
He's not grumpy. He has a lot on his plate.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it. His ass is grumpy as fuck, and I'll call him on it any day of the week.
Well, I like my job, so I'll keep my opinions to myself. Speaking of jobs, where are you?
He can't fire you, remember, and I'm getting out of the car now. I'll see you in a bit.
We hang up, and I fall back in my seat as I think of what life would be like if I had more confidence in myself. My major in college was picked out of self-doubt. My living situation is one birthed from lack of confidence. I've been coming out of my shell with my gaming channel, but my love life still sucks. When guys see me, they think, nerd. When they find out I'm a gamer, it's like twice the turnoff. Why do guys assume female gamers are only into boring sex or don't have a sexual bone in their bodies? I'd fuck the right guy's brains out. Like, I'd be a whole hoe for my man. I like toys, playing dress up, and I've been curious about a few different kinds of sexual play. Not to mention, for a woman my size, I've mastered some of the harder, more challenging yoga poses when it comes to flexibility and balance. Gio would have been perfect. I snort at the thought. You're not ready for that life. Apparently, I have limits, and it's been so hard to find someone for me. Online dating hasn't been so great. I make 6 figures, not counting the money I earn from my gaming channels and, well, my extra business activities. You would think my financial independence was a plague to some. Others are deterred by my father's military background, although he made his fortune in tech and is a bit on the nerdy side. Lizzy, that email? Michelle huffs, losing her patience with me. That's a first. Clearly, I'm really out of it. Sorry. I find the dates and send her a quick email. I take a breath and pull my shit together. I turn my focus back to the invites and requests for Dante's appearance, getting a document together with a list of events and dates to present to him to see what he will attend and which I'll have to send excuses for.
Good morning.
Gio croons as he walks through the main office heading for his door with Jace at his side. He turns to me with a smile on his face.
You bring all that into my office. We can go through them together.
I collect the basket with all the paper invites and grab my tablet with the emails and the scheduling system. Dante's usually booked solid this time of year. Jace holds the door open for me as I scurry inside. Gio removes his suit jacket. The man looks as if he never misses a day at the gym. His hair is neatly blown away from his face, showcasing his handsome features. As I settle in, Jace takes a seat on the couch across the office in Gio's seating area, silent as always. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've heard the man speak. Gio comes around his desk to help with the paper invites. He will sometimes help out with the schedules as he handles blending Dante's life. He acts as Dante's executive assistant, but I know he's more to his brother and the company than that. He frowns as he skims the invites.
No to this. We're not going to waste his time with this. Hell no to this one. Honestly, why do they still bother with sending an invite every year? He never goes.
I snicker. Some people like to hold on to hope.
Well, at this point, they'll die holding their breath.
We both laugh. I look over a beautiful invite to a charity ball. Does she know how lucky she is? I murmur to myself as I note all the +1 invitations I need to add to the list.
Who's that?
Bethany. Gio rolls his eyes and scowls darkly. I bite my lip, not wanting to say what I'm thinking. However, he has become my best friend. If I can't say what I'm thinking to him, who can I? Dante sets the world at that woman's feet. All I want is someone to have a decent conversation with. I have no dreams of marriage or family at this point. A nice boyfriend who can hold a conversation with me would be everything. Throw in some travel and I'm all over it, I blurt out.
You turned down an offer of a lifetime. I treat my dolls like gold.
He says and gives me a sultry look, then shrugs.
You'll find the right one. Heck, would it really be illegal for me to push that bitch off a cliff? You would be so much better to my brother than she is. Fuck it, I'll put a bullet in her head and solve everyone's problems. He'll be all yours.
I lift a brow. He gives me a sheepish grin that belies the man I know so well. I laugh. All of that is wishful thinking. I never have a shot with Dante. Every awkward bone in my body would ruin it. What is it my Aunt Denise used to say? I wish, therefore I am. I used to think those were magical words when I was younger. Then I had my heart broken. Again, and again, and again. Wishing has never changed a thing about me. Wishing gets you nowhere.
Is it?
He questions. Give me a book. I'll take the guaranteed happy ending any time. At least then, I know it's coming for me. Gio only grunts. My cell phone rings in my sweater pocket. I rush to check it. It could be my older sister. She travels a lot. I hate to miss her calls because I never know when the next call will be. I haven't seen my sister face to face in so long. We FaceTime and talk all the time over the phone and when she joins me on my Twitch channel. But it's not the same. I miss sitting with my sister as she brushes my hair and talks to me in her soothing voice. It's something she started doing when we lost our mom. Our world changed and she was there to make it all seem like it would be okay. Hello? I answer as I hold a finger up to Gio. He winks at me and takes my tablet to start tapping away at it. What's up, sis? Nyla says. Nothing. I'm with Gio, working on the boss's schedule. Tell Gio I said hi. Are they still treating you well? Of course, I reply. I cover the phone and lean in toward Gio. Nye says hi. To my surprise, his eyes dilate and his lips part. I furrow my brows. The two have met once and for no more than a few seconds. I dart my eyes over to Jace and he seems to be interested in the conversation. Something that's highly rare. I make a note to ask questions later. Gio quickly recovers and clears his throat.
Hello, Nyla. Will she be home for the holidays?
I place the phone on speaker, peeking over at Jace once more. He's on the edge of his seat, his phone in his hands. If I didn't know any better, I think his attention is fully on the device. Nye, Gio asks if you're coming home for the holidays. I have you on speaker. It depends. Am I wanted home for the holidays? Absolutely, I miss you. I was hoping you would come home. I glance at Gio and notice he seems to be holding his breath. I find myself mirroring him.
I would like to get to know my friend's sister more. Come home. I'll send a jet to...
Gio pauses to wait for Nyla to answer the implied question. She laughs. I can't help but feel like I'm missing something here. I'll come home. I have to go. Gio bares his teeth for a second before he quickly schools his features. Jace sits back in his seat with a tiny smile and the corners of his lips.